about the phone companies just like kind of like giving out information?
I feel like that's pretty wrong too. I mean, you pay your bill just to like talk on the phone and different things like that.
Do you agree with the law tracking and looking at our private information?
No, I don't agree. I feel like what's my privacy is my privacy. You know, catch me when you can.
Well, what's your opinion about privacy laws?
About my opinion, no, I just feel like at least ask the person that like you're gonna do this, you're gonna go in and stuff like that. Like we're gonna look at your privacy before you actually like investigate without them knowing.
Should Americans expect absolute privacy?
To a certain extent, if you have like suspicion of somebody doing something and then you try to catch them, then yeah, you can.
If you could create a law like to protect us from the information, like what would it contain?
If I create a law to protect us, just ask if I don't know. All right, hello. Let me ask my buddy here.
Oh, he's calling a lifeline.
Yeah, lifeline.
How you doing?
So the question was, if you could create a law to protect our privacy on the internet, like what would it contain? Like, what would it be?
Exactly.
A law. So I would say like I don't know, our stuff going to like I guess an
A third
internet law,
party.
and it never sees a third party.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first, what are your thoughts on internet privacy?
Internet privacy.
Yes.
I think there should be something to govern privacy issues. Yes.
How like yourself? Like, how do you feel emotionally about this?
What?
How do you feel emotionally about this?
I could take it or leave it.
Do you support if the government is really spying on us?
Yeah.
Can you please explain that?
Pardon?
Can you please explain?
The government has a right to know what you're doing, as long as it's not getting into any trouble. It's Homeland Security issue is what it is. At this day and age, you need something to see what's happening.
Do you think this applies to all American citizens or to?
All American citizens, non-American citizens too, living in this country.
Yes. What are your thoughts on cell phone companies just giving out information?
No, they shouldn't be doing that. No.
Can you please explain why?
Well, individual corporations have their own agenda. So what they want to do is take money from you. The more information they have about you, the more chances they are to come up with ways to get you to buy something or to support something.
Oscar Estrada, a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from the University of Texas at El Paso.
Alright, do you agree with the laws of tracking and looking at our private information on our phones?
Well, that is a very sensitive question because for the measures of national security, it is good to track those because you can find national threats to terrorism or any kind of illegal activity that might be going on, such as drug trafficking or conspiracy to traffic drugs. But at the same time, under our constitutional rights, we have a right to privacy and a right to self-expression, which is being violated when they're doing that because they're going through your things. So your right to privacy is basically gone. And if you were to say anything, like say, there's a certain combination of words you can't say together, and they're listening to you, then you will be put on a watch list as a potential terrorist, which is also basically violating your rights and your freedoms in the United States.
Alright. So how do you feel about this, like, emotionally, like, personally?
Personally, like I said, I'm conflicted because it is being used as a way to protect us from terrorists and criminal organizations, but at the same time, going through people's private conversations and messages and even just listening to what they're saying, it's invasion of privacy. You should be entitled to your own opinion and be able to say whatever you want without having to deal with consequences of being labeled a terrorist or a potential threat to the country.
If you could do something like on like a level around your community, like what would it be?
Mm, I mean, there's really nothing you can do. The only thing you could try to do would probably try to protest against it, but then you would lose all your way of life. You're just like connected now. Everything that you use has your tracking ability on it. If you own an iPhone is tracking you 24/7. It'll tell you your way home. If you use Google tracks you, so it's better show you anything. Even YouTube. Have you ever noticed how stuff that you see in YouTube ads come up for it? Say if you watch videos in Spanish ads will come up because they're tracking everything you're doing to see what you're doing. Even Facebook, everything that you watch, they take it and then they know what you're doing. That's why you get new like notifications and new videos that they recommend for you that you might like. And you're being watched 24/7. So if you were to protest that, you would basically be living back in the Stone Age because you won't be able to use any of the technology, social media, anything that's available to us nowadays.
Are currently in the hands of Russian intelligence?
So I don't have a clear answer as to why the company was so engaged in testing Russian expansionism in the leadership of Vladimir Putin. That's a question better put to Steve Bannon. In terms of the dangers for not just American democracy, but other democracies around the world, this data is powerful, and if it's put into the wrong hands, it becomes a weapon. And we have to understand that companies like Facebook and platforms like Facebook or Twitter are not just social networking sites. They're opportunities for information warfare, not just by state actors, but also non-state actors. And so we really do have to look at protecting cyberspace as a national security issue, just in the same way that we have agencies to protect our borders, land, sea, and air.
This article is written by the Harvard Law. Its purpose is to show American citizens the issue of internet privacy and to answer common questions about this topic. It also shows the positives and negatives of internet privacy. It gives examples of protection for your information, like covering your front camera on your phone or your laptop, or turning off the location on your cell phone or laptop, etc. It states that citizens should be worried about this. This is similar to what our interviews had to say about this topic. This article written by ACLU states that the further our technology progresses, the more access the government will have to our private lives. This article is written by Lazar. It states that social media applications like Facebook are being accused of violating American privacy. New laws are being settled to restrict these actions. One, for example, is that if they will use your search history to sell to companies that will eventually place ads on your phone, they first have to state it in the terms and conditions. This article is written by Ivana. It states 3 problems in internet privacy. The first one is search engines. They take basic information like names and birthdays, and they are used to increase ad revenue. The second is identity theft. This leads the victims to financial and legal problems. This happens to about 1 million people in the US alone. The last and final problem is tracking. It states that apps have access to almost your entire phone. It reveals text, emails, pictures, and search history to the entire company. There's no real way to completely be protected from this. This article is written by NCSL. It states that there are laws that grant the government permission to see our private information, but to a certain extent. This is a sensitive topic because to the government, this is a phenomenal way to get rid of national threat. But to us, the US citizens, don't like it as our private information is being released to the open public.